In January of 2021, I headed down south to Louisiana in search of new ideas and enlightening stories. My uncle met me there, and for the first few days, we goofed around New Orleans, ate a countless amount of beignets at the original French market. My uncle tried the Waffle House for the first time. Then a second, and possibly third and fourth, and well, besides the eating, we listened to tons of music. We rode through the city on streetcars until day became night. We traveled far from the city, explored new coffee shops that are a must-visit, ate ice cream and king cake, engaged in the epitome of tourist activity, followed by randomly walking in neighborhoods and finding Tulane University.
We've been here.
I'm sure you walk on campus for the come on.
After forcing me to trespass, my uncle walked with me until we found an art piece on campus that formed an oak tree, which are famous in the South, made of bead necklaces. And in an instant, I had the weirdest epiphany. Soon after, we were crossing bridges.
Across the canal, cross.
I was now in search of real oak trees and a most important discovery of family history. Look at right when we get on in here, y'all.
Red beans and rice.
Red beans and rice. Potato salad.
Cousin Marion cooked it, so baby, you know
No.
this is straight bomb.
Really, I came to interview my family, but the other intro was cuter.
My name is Marion Jackson.
I'm Angelina Jackson.
Hollis Belton Jackson.
Since my grandma was born and raised in Louisiana, I wanted to know all about her grandma's history, the Jacksons. My auntie and I's first question was,
And tell me, how was it in Crown Point? Because Tracy was telling me that it was so much fun. It was so much to do down here.
Well, growing up in Crown Point, since I had two older brothers and my sisters were much older, I played marbles with them and whatever. Even though as a little girl I also baked my mud pies.
When Grandpa Clemens died, Grandma Beulah said, let's swap houses. Y'all go in the front house and I'm going in the little house. So my kids, they all was raised right up there. The riding lawnmower going down in the ditch, little Harold, he ride the lawnmower and got in the car and just started driving just like that.
On Mardi Gras, my daddy would take us that Monday night across to New Orleans by my Aunt Seal.
the huge culture of Mardi Gras parades started as a celebration before the Christian season of Lent, but my family admitted that it's just a tradition they've grown accustomed to over the years.
And I don't know whether the Indians started Mardi Gras and he come out with the float or whatever.
You know, we've been growing up doing it, so we just keep going there, you know.
And we would go back to the night parade. I wanted to be there, but I was up under Daddy's coat whenever we see the moss men.
What's the moss men?
Oh, they were up. They had moss in their costumes.
Other than getting frightened by parade costumes, there were also parties and family gatherings on a weekly basis.
We would go down when they had the pirogue races, a big party.
Oh,
On the bayou. Yeah.
They still love it.
The thought of my cousins loving Crown Point is what brought me to my next question. Were there any negative aspects to growing up in the South or any racial tensions?
I don't ever remember being called no nigger. I used to play with the little white children across the street from us. And I remember Clem and Harold, when we was going to school, there's a white boy. They used to tease. His name was Jimmy Munchin. He was the one why we can't bury our people back there in the graveyard, right?
He's the one that used to
Yeah, but he's dead too now.
Let's pause. No growing up with racial tensions, but what is the fuss over this graveyard?
With the way I understand it, that cemetery has been there since the 1700s.
Let's catch you up on who we met while we were trying to figure out this graveyard mystery.
Born and raised right there.
Okay, you know who I am? I'm Mr. Dick's daughter.
Oh, okay.
To build the boats on the corner over there. Do you know the name of the cemetery back there?
Auntie, do you know the name of the cemetery back there where that trailer park is?
Or the trailer park. What is the name of the cemetery?
I don't think they had a name for it.
All I know it was
All our family members are
buried back there.
I know what to do back there. My dad is back there. Cutting Dutch is back there.
I know Drachenberg shut it all down when nobody could even get back there.
I know.
So I don't even know how the people are getting back there.
And they can't.
We can't.
No, we can't get
That's
back there.
terrible.
And we don't have nobody to help us fight for it.
Yeah.
His son lives the Waste House coming
Yes,
in.
I know.
And they say sign of that if we could get a right away there, let us back, but we got to get a road through there. You know that's wrong.
I guess if they went and asked, they might be able to make a little progress in saying, well, could we go back here?
And so that was the end of that. So far, life had been good, despite the unnamed cemetery. But then I got interested in all the talk about the land.
My cousins that own that part all the way down, except the corner lot. Yeah, so Mary owns all this land here.
But despite all the land they owned, strict and unjustified rules prohibited them from doing what they wished with it.
We tried to do something here and across the street, and they put a fence up there.
And naturally, still a bit confused, I asked again.
You own it, and
Yeah.
they told you can't do what you want with it.
No, see, it's residential only. And
Wow.
it was a bar right across the street. And it's a welding shop right on the side down this field road here.
Mary, and you could build a house there though.
Yeah, and it'd have to be so many feet high. And
Oh my God.
So with the land sitting vacantly, my family talked of high hopes to create shelter and housing for anyone in need when visiting Crown Point. They had yet to do so with the many restrictions. And with that in mind, we were off to the next destination, the old family church.
This is the church. They already painted it.
And then
This was our family church, the Jackson's family church.
this was a church in which decades ago had raised my very own ancestors.
that's me and my little cousin Eddie May. We were water sisters. Yeah, and this was the church. There was a back of our church.
Why the remodeled look? It was sold just a few years prior to the making of this documentary.
And this church was built over 100 years ago.
Ejan Mill.
Ejan Mill is where we
See that house?
purchased
All
the
that for
property.
the church.
We own that too?
Yeah, and they give all that on for $80,000.
As told by my cousin, the family member that signed off on the purchase was illiterate and likely tricked into selling the beloved church. And $80,000 was all it took for it to be gone. Moving along with the newfound passion, my auntie and I visited every house on the street that our family owned and had been raised in.
Oh my God, the swing is still there.
Yeah, my house was right across over up in here.
Yeah, that swing has been there ever since when I was 13, so it's been there longer than that.
That tree saw more motors and automobiles you can shake a stick at. My cousin Harold, your uncle, used to pull engines out of cars under this tree.
Oh my goodness.
And the old house was right here. I believe it's down here. Oh yeah, just the tree. See up there?
And then a most famous house, my great-great-grandma Beulah's home.
Baby, it was some good gumbo and red beans and rice coming up out of that joint.
I can tell you the story about this house. The one who built this house, his name was Noel Gaines Jr.
Okay.
He was about to lose it. Your great-grandfather bought the house from it, took over the note. That's why his children have this house.
Okay.
From the highway straight back. They got a canal in the back.
Right.
Wow.
This is family ground.
All right now, that's what I'm talking about. Is the bathhouse still back there?
Only one way to find out.
Oh my God.
This land, which was solely the Jacksons, was more land that was completely vacant.
But it's
Nobody's ours, all this.
nobody lives here.
No.
Among this discovery was also the privilege of even more stories.
One night, through the same canal, a barge came through here with 72 tons of marijuana. And they were paying people to unload it, $3,500 to unload it. I said to myself, during that time, if one of those bills fell off that boat, I'll be rich.
You got to take a good look at that tree. Lightning must have struck it. There's a hole in it.
Oh no.
About this high up.
That tree right there?
Yeah, that tree right there. It's
That's where they
amazing.
found that money. They found money in that tree.
Of bayou stories, of mysterious treasures, and even of old mythical tales.
My grandmother, Rosie, with her 7 sisters.
Y'all heard about what they call the 7 sisters, what they will relate to.
They said that's what the 7 sisters did. They lived in Algiers, those 7 sisters, and that's what they did.
Voodoo mess, but that's
People come from all over to them.
Is that what they was practicing?
Yeah,
Really?
but they
Now
always think that was my grandmother's sister, but it wasn't.
People try to label you.
You see the 7 sisters? Oh yeah, that's your grandma. But it's not my grandmother. That was the 7 sisters from Algiers. They lived in Algiers.
But when you know who you are, you don't worry about labels.
There were family stories,
My grandfather did tell me spoke French. I guess he learned more, I don't know, English.
Just finished talking about the whole tree.
So you know Cora then, you know about Cora.
Yes, yeah. Cora's, she's lived to be 105 years old. She left Virginia and came to Mississippi.
Then Mississippi to here.
Mississippi to Crown Point.
That's the root.
That's it. That
That's
lady
the root.
right there.
But they called it Chickazola Sack. It was on Grand Isle. My great grandmother's last name was Chickazola.
Before she got married to the
Yeah. So that's on. It sounds Indian to me. I don't know. Did they have Indian slaves or what? And I think that any vital records from Grand Isle, I think, were destroyed in some kind of fire. I don't know if it was a courthouse fire or what.
Aunt Dell was married to Reverend Alex Jackson Jr., my daddy brother, and they married 2 brothers now.
and tragic deaths.
Angel, she was kind of really sad when Grandma Beulah died.
Oh,
she
was
took that
she?
really hard.
Yeah, she did.
In driving past down to the Barterier side of the bayou where past cousins had lived, my family recalled other findings, plantations, and other deaths.
So we about to pass the Fleming Plantation.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
Fleming
look, it's falling
Plantation.
down.
Yeah, all this is Fleming Plantation. And where my mom and all them went.
And there he was, a picture of my great-great-grandpa Clemens. More tragedies only followed.
I think it was Johnson Street where our house burned down when I was about 2.5.
When my son drowned, that's where they brought it right back down up in there.
Elise was 8 years old when she passed away.
So just Lloyd and I left. Lawrence, Henry, Alvin, his father, they all dead.
In the end of it all, though, there was one thing that was for certain.
As I could remember, Raymond and I were laying on the floor. Mom and Daddy were sitting in chairs. And, oh Lord, I don't want to cry. And I heard my daddy, you know, when he told Mama, he looked at us and he told Mom, he said, I wouldn't take $1 million, Father. And I'll never forget that. So we grew up with a lot of love.
Oh, that's awesome.
Love. Love remained within the family. And after all of the stories, no matter the hardships in politics over land, ownership, money, love was the thing that shone through the most.
Let me know which way to go.
You ain't got to do nothing but go straight,
Laughter, memories, and ultimately family.
The Jacksons, we had it on lockdown here too.
That's what it's been, long before I visited, and how it will remain long after I myself will be gone.
What has happened down here is the wind has changed. Clouds roll in from the north and it start to rain. Rain real hard and rain for a real long time. 6 feet of water in the streets of Evangeline. River rolls all day, the river rolls all night. Some people got lost in the flood. Some people got away all right. River has busted through, clear down to Clackamas. 6 feet of water in the streets of Evangeline. Louisiana. They're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away. Louisiana, Louisiana. They're trying to wash us away. They're trying to wash us away.
Saw that name. That's my girlfriend. Oh my God.
What happened, Auntie? What
They done broke windows. Somebody done got shot. You later, baby. Okay.
Trump-inspired protesters who have stormed the Capitol in a flagrant act of insurrection. You have to go home now. There'll be more as it plays out, and I'm sure are doing everything to turn it around as rapidly as possible, but it is on the president's Twitter feed.